and deeds that not only do we want the franchise, we demand it.
After 125 years of suffrage in New Zealand, it's time to pay tribute to the women who made it happen. This is Harriet Morison, head of the first female union, the Tailoresses Union, a suffragist and a champion of working women's rights. On the banks of the Avon River in Christchurch, there's a memorial to suffrage. Kate Shepherd is familiar to us, but this is our trade unionist, Harriet Morison. Morison's presence in the history books is fleeting, but if we go to the archives, we can get a glimpse of who she was and what she fought for. The Morison family migrated from Ireland to Dunedin in 1874. Her father was a tailor, and Harriet followed suit. A year before the Morisons arrived in New Zealand, an act was passed. It restricted women's working hours to 8 hours a day. However, it wasn't really enforced, and employers took little notice. As economic depression increased in the 1880s, exploitative conditions for working women intensified. You can see it in this cartoon here. Harriet testified about these conditions to the 1890s Sweating Commission.
They worked overtime in the factories in order to make a bare living. Some worked in their meal hours. They worked at home till about 12 o'clock at night.
Harriet saw that her peers were being exploited.
In my opinion, it is the reckless competition of the manufacturers that has brought down the wages so low.
With the help of the Mariners Union, she established a union for tailoresses. It was the first trade union for women in the whole country. As head of the Tailoresses Union, Morison worked to reinforce the 8-hour day rule, create standardised pricing for sewing work, and unite tailoresses not only in Dunedin, but in Christchurch, Wellington and Auckland as well. When word about women campaigning for the vote came around, Harriet Morison jumped on board. She saw suffrage as the right of working women. She made her opinions loud and clear at a public meeting in the Dunedin Town Hall, with hundreds of people listening.
Women are compelled to go into the battle of life to earn their daily bread. The laws of competition and the factory system compel women to leave their home and face life's battle. And I think women as wage earners have a right to a voice in those laws that control this competition. And they cannot have a voice or be properly represented unless they have the ballot in their hands.
When the suffrage petition came to Dunedin in 1893, it got the most signatures out of anywhere else in the country. This is partly due to Harriet Morison's mobilisation of working class women. While much has changed since Harriet's time, the campaign for equal pay for women is still ongoing. One of the current campaigners is Tamara Baddeley.
Morning. On my busiest day, I can see up to 9 people. I start at 7 a.m. I finish at 9:30, 9:45 p.m. I've been doing this for 17 and a half years, and I love the job because of the people I meet. Right, so we're going to pick up all those pears off the ground so you can do your jams tomorrow.
Yes, I hadn't realised how many had fallen. Tamara comes and sees me 6 days a week. She will help me out of bed, help me get dressed, all the hidden stuff of life. Without those boring necessities, I couldn't go out and have the right to work, to public spaces, all the rights that everybody else has.
You ready?
Without support workers, life is hell.
Oh,
Oh, darling, you are going to come and help. What a good boy.
Good evening. Rest home workers are about to get a $2 billion pay rise.
The government's finally agreed to settle a claim they are underpaid because most of them are women.
A rate between $23.50 and $27 an hour for all.
This will be the biggest pay rise we'll ever get. So this will be a life changer.
I was standing right next to Christine when we heard what the pay rates were to be, and basically we looked at each other, hugged each other and said, can't believe it. So it was a huge start for us, the 55,000 of us in the country, and it set a stepping stone for other workplaces.
Suffrage is not only having women in Parliament, but it's also about
being heard and having their rights upheld, and knowing that if they band together and they believe in something enough, they can make it happen.
the care and support workers settlement was such an important step in the Equal Pay campaign. Now let's check in with our Prime Minister to see what her views are on the future for working women in Aotearoa New Zealand.
Really, I think, for a long time, all women have sought is for there to be that equality in the way that we are judged, in the way that we do our job. The issue of equal pay actually is just a plain issue of fairness. And what message do we send that next generation if we tell them that based on their gender they will earn less?
Neve will be coming into this workforce. What are your hopes for the future of work in Aotearoa New Zealand?
I would love a country where girls and young women don't even think about their gender when it comes to work, and that it will only come down to really just what they choose to do in their lives and what they derive joy from. That's my dream, that's my aspiration.
It was also Harriet Morison's aspiration. She fought for fairness and wasn't afraid to say it.
I would honestly like to know what difference there is between a petticoat government and a pantaloon government. I contend that the mind is the standard by which humanity must be gauged, not the garments worn.
I'm sure Harriet would be absolutely stoked to see a staunch petticoat Labour government.
She'd kick me in the pants and tell me to hurry up as well, I'm sure.